4 days ago, I got an email that I got into a practical PhD in filmmaking that I'm going to be doing online and part time for the next 6 years. And I've decided to share that here on YouTube. So here's the presentation I did for the board. Variations in affect across film forms and viewing experience, a practice-based examination and evaluation of emotional response and engagement. The immersive personal viewing experience offered by head-mounted displays may radically change how films are both made and viewed going forward. But while VR creates a more immersive viewing experience, there are narrative limitations to 360 VR. Is there a golden middle ground, where we cover the viewer's full field of view while still utilizing a more traditional storytelling perspective and language of film? I propose creating and audience testing several short film cycles where I tell the same stories through both traditional, screen-based cinema as well as through head-mounted displays in order to answer the following questions. How is emotional response and level of engagement affected by this new viewing experience? How will this approach adopt and evolve the language of film? And how is affect altered in both forms when the moving image, juxtaposition in editing, or sound design and score is used as the primary narrative tool? My practice research will be based on the creation and evaluation of iterative short film cycles that build upon contemporary affect theory, writing on digital technology and cinema, and contemporary research into the varying affects of traditional cinema versus 3D, VR, and IMAX. The different versions of the same story will play to the strength of its given medium, thus partaking in the evolution of an emerging language of film, whilst generating direct comparisons to the traditional, and will be evaluated in both screen-based communal settings as well as the individual experience of head-mounted displays through test subject self-evaluation and focus group interviews. This analysis will create an evolving, iterative response that informs the direction of following cycles. The release of the Apple Vision Pro may herald a future where head-mounted displays become household items, setting the stage for this new viewing experience to reach a rapidly growing audience. This research into its effects and evolution of the language of film taking place at the razor's edge of its emergence will benefit both future filmmakers and audiences. The comparative cycles themselves will also be a valuable resource for further study into filmmaking for head-mounted displays. I am a filmmaker, researcher, and film educator. I run an active production company as well as completing an online part-time master's alongside full-time employment as mentor and producer for a local talent program for emerging filmmakers, overseeing a minimum of 8 short film projects a year plus my own, as well as teaching at the local university. Filmmaking and project management is what I do, and I will step down to 50% to focus on this PhD. So since I sent the application, I have done the first test shoot, which revealed flaws in my 2-camera direct comparison approach, which you can see a photo of here. Because it turns out that even though these are small cameras and really close together, the difference in angle is so great that when you go in for a close-up, the background of the 2 different cameras are very, very different. So when I shoot a second one in June, I will have to shoot every single shot twice so I can reach optimal composition for each deliverable. On the 2 photos here, the top one is shot for screen and it pretty much matches the center of the bottom one, which is shot for head-mounted displays. We're matching the center composition with the screen version, but with more peripheral fill. However, when we edited this and put it together, it was very obvious as soon as we put it on a head-mounted display that I hadn't gone wide enough on the wide lens for the head-mounted display. So for the next cycle, I will be doubling the field of view of the lens I use for screen. Here I only went 1.5. I've also been looking into head-mounted displays as viewing experience and made sure both Apple Vision Pro, MetaQuest, and Pico will all work. For capture devices, I'm planning on using both digital cinema cameras, VR 180 3D prosumer cameras, AI video generation when it gets good enough, and Super 8 film, as the medium will change the effect. I'm also building a 12-person test cinema at work with a laser projector and proper cinema seats, so I always have access to the testing facility. And I'm setting up a YouTube channel that will chronicle the PhD journey. And then we got to the questions part, and I don't remember all of their questions. I do, however, remember that In one of them, when I was talking about why do I want to do this, I talked about how I once made a short film and sent it to a friend, and she watched it and said, "Yeah, that's fine." And then a week later, she saw the same short film in a movie theater and cried, and I hadn't changed anything. Um, and the lesson here was that the way you're watching something really changes how you're affected by it, because she had just watched it, on a laptop. Um, so my hope is that head-mounted displays might reach like 90% of the feeling of sitting in a cinema, and the attention that you then give to a film, and that will heighten the emotion of the audience. Because I can't always get my films into the cinema, but I can get them online and people can download them into their own head-mounted displays. And that's it. I don't know how often I'll post.